All right, YouTube. Here we are. Joel from State 48 Exotics. I don't think I've ever really said my first name, but it's Joel. Now you know. But here we go. I'm going to do a little quick episode on some tips and tricks for converting your ball pythons to frozen thawed. This is by all means not a foolproof guide, and I do not guarantee any of it works. It's just sort of what I did and what has worked for me. Doesn't mean it'll work for you, but there's a chance that maybe you can pick some things up that you never thought of before, or maybe you have thought of. Maybe we compare and contrast ideas. That's kind of what we've been doing anyway so far. But yeah, just wanted to kind of go over some ideas that I had about frozen thawed and how I get my snakes to eat it. So I hope you guys enjoy. Stay tuned. Well, let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe, right? Alright guys, thanks again for watching. I always appreciate it. It's absolutely incredible. Alright, here we go. Talk about the frozen thawed method and kind of what I do to get my ball pythons to convert over to eating a frozen thawed rat as opposed to live or pre-killed. Just a quick little insight, I guess, on why I choose frozen thawed over other things. There's a few reasons. First reason is I don't really like to kill anything. I'm the person that's saving bees out of the pool and, whatever it may be. I just don't like the idea of having that rat potentially have to suffer any more than it needs to. I do understand that there's a circle of life. Animals eat other animals, just how it is, I guess. But if there's anything I can do in captivity to maybe help alleviate some pain or alleviate some issues that may come with feeding live, I'm going to do it. There's always those horror stories you hear where the rat bites the snake, hurts the snake, injures the snake, kills the snake, whatever it may be. I don't want that either, because as of right now, these animals, they're my buddies. They're the ones I care about. I hate to say more than the rat, but I do, obviously. Another thing that's kind of a bigger issue, not bigger, but an issue as well, is money. It's really expensive to buy live rats. I think I can almost get 2 for 1 in comparatively to going down the reptile store and getting a live rat over a frozen thawed rat from whatever source you may get. I don't breed my own rats. I think if I bred my own rats, it would maybe still be even cheaper to breed my own rats and raise them and then pre-kill them myself, yada, yada, yada. It doesn't really matter. However, my method, everybody is tong trained. So, for the most part, I don't really have an issue getting my ball pythons to switch to frozen thawed. So that's not really the ones we're going to talk about though. The ones that work easy, who cares? They work. You don't really have to do anything special. But what I will say is I tong train everybody, which I think, most of you do feed with tongs. Nobody usually feeds with live. So that there's got to be a slight association with this tong and a food source. So what I end up doing for those ball pythons that don't really want to turn to frozen thawed is I do a couple things, but initially with the tong here, I kind of do something that sort of sucks a little bit. I take the prey item and live, and I hold it with the tong. I don't just drop it in there and let the snake attack it. I hold it with the tong. I let the snake take the prey item from the tong, and I do that maybe 2 or 3 times. That's the only time it kind of sucks, because I'm literally holding a rat to its death, and that's not a fan of that. Not a fan at all. Potentially a necessary sacrifice for the future of all the other rats, right? So I hold it, they take the rat, it's essentially live, it's a live prey item just like they're used to, and then I move to a pre-killed rat, and I'll go from that pre-killed rat, I'll do that 2 or 3 times, tongs, bam, 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 taking, as long as they're eating, they're not doing anything else weird. This is normal snake habits, nothing like your husbandry's a little off, they're off feed, or whatever it may be. This is snake eats great already, I just want to switch it to frozen thawed. this is my method. This is what I've done. A couple people ask me how I do it. It's kind of what I do. So, pre-killed, boom, 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 3 or 4 times maybe even not that many. It depends on the snake and the animal that you're using. I mean, you got to know your animals above all else. You have to know what these animals want, what they're doing. So then I go from there, and then I do the frozen thawed. So then, when I do the frozen thawed, I thaw them out, in a big bucket. I have a big bucket because I usually do, 12, 13 rats at a time, which isn't a lot to some people. It's kind of a lot to me. I have just a bucket, a Home Depot bucket. Thaw them out. I thaw them out in essentially room temperature water. It's not hot, it's not cold, just thaws them out. You don't want to put it too hot. I know a lot of you probably already know this. You don't want to make it too hot. It'll cook the rat. It's disgusting. So room temperature, 45 minutes, hour and a half, I don't know, however long you want to do it. And, check the rats. Make sure they're squishy. There's nothing frozen in them anymore, You don't want to feed a frozen rat to a snake. Yeah, that can't be good. So to go from there, and then what I do is I drain all that water out, draining, and then I fire up my faucet in the old bathroom behind me, and I make that water hot, real hot. I then fill up the bucket with all just the dead rats in it, and it's hot water now. I let that sit, 2-3 minutes, and now I feel like it's heated the rats up a little bit. The hot water has made it hot. Weird, right? So then I take them, and now essentially they're frozen thawed, right? But they're a lot warmer, and that's where we're gonna feed on the instincts of the snake themselves with their heat pits and everything else. I do dry them. I have this, I'll grab it right here. Towel. Dry them all off with the towel here. Boom, boom, boom. Dry them off. Put the towel up here. Open the drawer. Boom. Hold the snake. Bam. Snake takes it. If they don't take it, maybe they didn't want to eat. I don't just give up when it doesn't work. I'm gonna try a few times. I'm gonna try a couple times, and there hasn't been a snake yet. I don't have tens of thousands of snakes like a lot of people, or not even a lot of people, like the bigger breeders, let's say, whatever. But I have had enough snakes in the past where I have never had a snake not convert. And it's just something that's pretty important to me, and it's efficient. I mean, the efficiency of frozen thawed is unreal, as opposed to going to the reptile store, buying a single rat, or buying 15 rats. They're out of rats this week, let's say. Then you're screwed. You don't have anything to feed your snakes, and blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of my process, and to finish it off, I'm going to go ahead and pull out Scarlet here. Show her off. She just fresh shed. So why wouldn't I give you guys a look at the beautiful albino pied? She is such a sweetheart. But here she is. You guys have seen her in other videos. I figured instead of just seeing my face like you guys have been every time, or not every time, the past couple videos though, here she is, doing her thing, being a snake. Another thing I kind of want to touch base on, this is kind of a video that I saw earlier when I just, I spend my days, among other things, watching snake YouTube videos because I'm just as weird as you guys. But Gavin from Balls to You did a feeding video, sort of, some ideas on what his processes are and things like that. One thing that really stood out to me in one of his videos is these are nocturnal animals, so I feed all of my snakes at night, and I'm not just saying like 6:30, early evening, late evening. I feed about 9:30, 10 o'clock when they're good and dark. It's good and dark in here, and they're awake because right now it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This is like 2 o'clock in the morning for this animal. I mean, she's been sleeping, and then they're up all night. They hang out at night. They do what they want to do at night. They hunt at night. They move at night. It's safer at night, right? So it's just kind of a good idea. That's another thing. Feed them at night. Or if you don't need to, don't, obviously. I'm not telling you guys what to do. But if you have those pesky animals that, I shouldn't say pesky. Let's say stubborn. Let's say stubborn animals. You have those stubborn animals that don't want to eat. Maybe try switching to feeding them at night. That's that's been really effective for me. And when I come in my snake room also to eliminate waste, where I don't, de-thaw the wrong amount of rats, I come in here and I inspect this rack, and whoever's out and about looking around, active, they're the ones that get the food. I don't usually just mass de-thaw a bunch of rats, because I also don't like to waste. I hate wasting a rat, because that rat gave its life for this animal, and I hate to just throw it away, I guess. But that's just, another little maybe tip is stubborn feeders, try to feed them at night. I guess that kind of segues us into a couple other things. Stubborn feeders, maybe change some things up, see if you can't increase humidity, or move them around in your rack if you have a rack, or if you don't have a rack, move the hide around. Just do a couple little things to try to see if you can't make them happy, push them, or not push them around, but push that hide around and see what you can't do. It's funny. Sometimes it's just as little as just changing the substrate, and then all of a sudden they're out in a happier mood. And here's Dave. There's that, right? Keep looking at snakes for us real quick. But that's kind of all I really wanted to talk about today. I know it's kind of a boring video, and to keep quoting Gavin, I don't want to teach you guys to suck eggs, but I don't know, it's something that I kind of get questions about. Not all the time, but fairly frequently on my Instagram account, and it's maybe just something that might help you guys in the future. These ball pythons are incredible animals, but they do have a rap for not eating, or going off feed, or things like that. And so far, I've been doing pretty good with it. So having some pretty stellar growth rates and trying to have happy snakes. And those are just kind of some key tips from beginner to you guys on some of the things that I do to try to make these animals keep on feeding, because feeding snakes are happy snakes, right? But all right, guys, well, till next week, and gals, that's all from here at State 48. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. See you later.